If you're a coach or consultant who wants to grow your business by launching a new program or event, you're going to love my guest today. She's going to explain how to do this with ease so that you can scale your business with less stress. Hello, and welcome to the Seven Figure Life Fulfillment Podcast, where we share strategies to help coaches and consultants build life affirming seven figure businesses filled with passion and purpose. I'm your host, Ken Stephen, and my guest today is Elisa Boogaerts. Elisa is a launch manager. She helps coaches and consultants figure out everything they need to do to successfully launch, plan, and even handle all the techie stuff if you need it. Okay, Elisa, welcome to the show. This sounds like a really interesting topic for discussion.
Hey Ken, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here. Yes, and I think it's aligned so well because launching really is what we start doing when we're scaling our businesses, and this helps you continue to scale and scale with seven figures.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the whole idea here is helping coaches and consultants scale to seven figures. So yeah, let's dive right in to help them understand how launching can help them do that. But first of all, let's let everybody know who your ideal client would be and what you help them achieve.
Yeah, so my ideal client, it's actually interesting. As I've been doing this, been working with men more often than women, which is kind of interesting. I think I seem to attract that masculine energy and work really well with men. And yeah, so I work with men who are coaches, consultants, course creators, and who they have a team. So they're already at sort of six figures, multi six figures, scaling, and I help them, yeah, launch their program so they can. I work with them to strategize their launch, and then I put a plan together, and then I work with their team to make sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing when they're supposed to be doing it. Because the coach, they want to be out there. They want to be out there networking, speaking, selling, filling their events, and not necessarily worrying about everything that their team's doing, because with a launch there are so many moving pieces and it is a lot to keep on top of. And so yeah, they hire me to help them get everything done so that their launch can be successful and they can continue scaling.
Yeah, you brought up a really good point there, right? It's just that if you're a coach or consultant, you want to be doing coaching and consulting. You don't want to be doing all of the things that are like the marketing related, the business growth related stuff. Your superpower is coaching and consulting, and you should be having other people like you handle the bits and pieces to help their business grow without them having to keep a finger on the pulse, so to speak.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. So how did you get to be? I've never really come across anyone who said they were a launch coach. This is really intriguing. How did you decide to become a launch coach?
Well, I had a 23-year corporate career, and in that, I became a project manager. So I worked in corporate as a project manager. So I've been in the industry for about 15 years, and it was an idea that one of my managers had, and then it turned out that I'm just really excellent at it. I'm really very like tactical, logical planner person, and super organized and structured. And so I started my coaching business about 4 years ago, but I was doing more life coaching. And when I quit my corporate job, my business coach was like, "What are you doing with all those project management skills? Like they are really needed in this industry because there are so many coaches are very visionary. They're ideas people. They're like sort of big picture thinkers, and they really need someone like me, kind of being that middle person to kind of bring them down to earth. Help them get organized and get them launched." And so it just sort of evolved from there, and yeah, just kind of bringing those skills to the forefront and helping
So
coaches
so
scale.
what kind of launches have you seen be very successful in helping people scale from six to seven figures? Like, is it just products or services, or give us an idea of the kinds of things that could help them grow?
Yeah, so mostly, yeah, when you're at that level, I find that coaches do more multi-day events. So they do sort of like a 1 to 3 day event, and in that they sell a high ticket offer. So it can be anything, anywhere from 10 grand to 40 grand, or even some people do 100 grand. Yeah, so I think that that's kind of the main things that when you're scaling to do a multi-day event where you bring in speakers and you also provide a lot of value to people and you take them through a whole flow, and then sort of in the middle of it you pitch your high ticket offer.
Yeah, you definitely need some project management skills to pull something like that off successfully.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay, good. Good. I'm starting to understand the value of your service here. So this is really good. This is really good. So
Thank you.
what mistakes do you see a lot of people make when they're trying to run their first event
I would say the biggest
and
mistake
launch?
is not starting early enough. it can
Mm.
take quite a while to put everything together, but also to fill the event. And so, especially if you're having like a 3 day event, like you want to start planning that and getting that going, I would say 6 to 8 months in advance. Um, because you can also be something that's like a 3 day event. If you're going to be inviting people to it, you want to give them time, because taking off 3 days of your work day is quite a lot. And so you want to give people the time to do that, to block their calendar. And also, if you're selling a high ticket program, the people who are going to be able to afford to pay for that, they're going to need the time to book off. If you're working, if it's like, say a client that could just easily come to a 3 day event the day before or the week of, they're not really that super busy, and maybe they don't have clients, so
Right.
they might be not be the person who's going to buy that high ticket program. So yeah, you want to give people a lot of advanced warning. And also, with a lot of these events, it's great to engage your joint venture partners in your strategic alliances and your, say, affiliate programs or promotional partners to help you promote your event, so you can get more and more people into it. And a lot of that can also include speaking engagements. So you kind of want to book those speaking engagements in advance, so that you can promote or sell tickets to your event, your 3 day event. And so yeah, you need to get going on that a good 6 months, 8 months early, so you can get all those invitations done before the event happens.
Can you give us an idea of some of the nuts and bolts of the project management uh, process that you have to go through to pull something like a 3 day event off?
Yeah, yeah. So it always starts with strategy. I think strategy is really one of the most sort of important things that you got to start with, so that we'd really sit down and think and look at all the different goals of, what the 3 day event is, how much money you'd like to make, how many people you'd like to have at the event, how many partners you want to help promote it. So we look at that, sort of having a really solid strategy, because if you don't really have an idea of what you're doing, you may not know the things that need to get done, right? You may not, if you
Mm.
don't know your goals, you don't necessarily know how you're going to achieve them and how hard you might need to push to get people there. Say if you want to have a couple hundred people live at the event, you're probably going to need to sell, 500 to 1,000 tickets. And so, so as you're going through the process, you want to be monitoring that, like, how am I tracking towards my goal? So then, maybe I need to get a new speaking event. Maybe I need to get another joint venture partner to sell those tickets. So I think it really starts with that strategy and the goals of it, and then we work on a plan. So that's like the next thing that I do, is put together a very detailed plan. I think let me think about it. I have so many different plans. Before a 3 day event, I task it out, and there's probably about 400 tasks, I'd say,
Wow.
of things to be done for the team to do. So there's really like a lot of work. And one of my kind of superpowers is to, because it can be such a big, complex thing to get done, launching a 3 day event, launching a high ticket offer. My superpower is to kind of take that huge, giant thing and bring it down into these easy, manageable chunks. And I know a lot of people talk about that when you're doing something, make it into a small, easy chunk. And so I do that, and I can really just focus the team, being like, okay, I know we've got 400 tasks, but right now I want you to focus on, these 10, 15 tasks, and each person has their task,
Mm.
and we work on that each week. And I always follow up with people, make sure that everybody knows what they need to be doing. And also if there's any sort of dependencies, right? So this person needs to get this done before this person can do what they need to do. So always monitoring and tracking and keep on top of all that, all the tasks.
Is there like a go-to tactic or strategy that you recommend for people who are considering launching a big event?
Any go-to tactic or strategy?
Yeah, other
Um,
than the fact that they should hire you and get a plan done and have a project managed.
Well, one thing, as we were doing the strategizing in the beginning, I love to put together a ticket map, which is like, where can you, or are you planning to sell all your tickets at? So we go through and think, okay, these speaking engagement, these joint venture partners, I'm going to be, say, even on a podcast or speaking on a summit or doing my own events or having launch parties, things like that. So we kind of go through and list out an entire ticket map, and estimating, saying, okay, I think with all of these, I could probably get this many tickets sold at each different place where you may be selling them. So I think that's a really good one to look at.
Yeah, it's just listening to you explain all this. I just realized that there are so many nuts and bolts that even I've never thought of these things either, right? So it's if if there's a golden nugget in this for me, it's that don't try this at home. Get professional help. Because I think that's the differentiating thing. Like you also mentioned, you can help people launch programs or podcasts or books or summits. In this case, 3-day events. I can understand that wouldn't be necessarily as complex, but what we're talking about here is helping coaches scale from 6 figures to 7 figures, and it is these big events that are going to help them do that. So, is there any other thing that we should know about it for a coach or consultant who's thinking that, yeah, maybe a 3-day event is something that I should be thinking about? What else would you want to share with us to help them, prepare themselves for this?
I would think to have a solid team that you work with. So I don't think that a solopreneur can maybe do it themselves. It'd be too much. So I think you really want to have the right people with their right roles doing they're doing what they're really good at. And so I think because having that solid team will really, and there's a lot of like good morale and trust within the team that everybody knows what they're doing. I think that's really helpful. Because yeah, if you don't have the right people doing the right things, all of a sudden you might be scrambling, and then it can take a while to onboard somebody, to train somebody. So I think having a good team, and it doesn't need to be a huge team as well. It could be a couple of people, it could be three,
Sure.
4 or 5 people, and some people even have teams of 15, depending on what they do. But yeah, I think that having that solid team to really, because they're going to be the ones doing all the work to make you look amazing when you come on stage to your 3-day event, right? And help to fill your event. So yeah.
These have been great pointers, and Elisa, uh, if someone wanted to learn more about how maybe they should be launching their events and how they might be able to work with you and get your help, um, how can they get in touch with you and how can they learn more?
Yeah, so my company is Inspiration by Elisa. It was a name I made up when I was doing my life coaching, confidence coaching. I just haven't quite, but I also like to inspire people to do their events and to launch too, because it can be so big and scary. So yeah, so my website is inspirationbyelisa.com, and Elisa is Elisa. And there they can find out some information about me and book a call.
Perfect. Book a call. All right. So, anybody interested in learning more about how to launch, and clearly there's a lot more to it than that maybe meets the eye. Um, be sure to reach out to Elisa. Lisa, I want to thank you for being so generous with your time and your insights today. I certainly got some good takeaways from this. There's more to think about than I ever imagined. I'm going to post a link to your website to make sure that people will know how to get in touch with you. I'll post that in the show notes below. And for anyone listening today, if you benefited at all from Elisa's insights, please share this podcast with your friends so that they can benefit too. And I'll see all of you the next time on the 7-Figure Life Fulfillment Podcast. And Elisa, thanks so much again for being such a great guest.
Thanks so much for having me, Ken. This has been awesome. Really enjoyed sharing with you in this conversation.
All right. Bye for now.